to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
They actually named a law Breonna Taylor, but have not arrested the police who killed Breonna Taylor.
Wow. Where's the law?
It's in Kentucky. It's the Breonna. It's the name of the law is Breonna Taylor, and it's about the no warrant.
No knock.
No knock. Excuse me. The no knock entries that have been banned. It's against the law now, and they named it the Breonna Taylor law. But they haven't arrested the officers that killed Breonna Taylor.
Nothing.
We not letting up, bro.
Okay, so they want a law for the future, but don't want to deal with what actually happened?
Because they want to try to quell the movement. They want to try to pacify folks. They want to placate individuals and pander. They want to make these empty promises and use words. But they don't actually want real accountability for their behavior. That's a problem. And by the way, when it was just black folks riding out by ourselves, some of this may have worked. White people don't fall for that, though. Now you got white people marching. That thought was actually put on my mind by a white person. That was like, they got a Breonna Taylor law, but they haven't, that doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah, I saw it on a meme too, floating.
Oh, there's a meme?
There's a meme. Like, how you gonna have this law named after her, yet you done nothing to go after the police officers that created the situation and murdered her?
Like it's great, yes, that a law passed, but okay, but what about her?
Right.
What about justice for her?
Crazy. Then you have Malcolm Harsh and Robert Fuller, which I'm sure you hear a lot about today. Over the last 10 days, just north of LA, a city named Palmdale and a neighboring city named Victorville, black men have been hanged. Both called suicide. Both of them. They were 10 days apart and 50 miles apart, but both families are conducting their own investigations. Both men found hanging from trees. Both black men. Robert Fuller was 24. Malcolm Harsh, I don't see his age here. The Victorville Fire Department in the Malcolm Harsh story found bystanders performing CPR on Mr. Harsh when they arrived to the scene. Firefighters took over and tried to restore Mr. Harsh's heartbeat, but it stopped after about 20 minutes. The Harsh family was informed by the coroner's office that an autopsy was completed, but Harsh's sister said they were not informed of the cause of death. Malcolm Harsh, who was hanged just a few days ago, moved to California 14 years ago from Ohio. And that family's conducting their own investigation into the cause of death. Now, they had a rally in Palmdale, I think a few days ago, for Robert Fuller and Malcolm Harsh. And I share these stories with you guys because I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot of, and when you go back and check, I was sent a story from 2012. A man was in the back of a police car in Arkansas, handcuffed, and he committed suicide. That is a difficult task. And I just don't believe it. And I think these cases will start being opened again. And then just over the weekend, Rayshard Brooks in Atlanta. The local community and protesters and demonstrators down there, somebody took it upon themselves. They burnt down the Wendy's where the incident happened. Rayshard Brooks was sleeping in his car. Now, Shawnee, you saw this whole video.
I saw, well, Cass saw the hour-long video. I saw 5 minutes before the incident actually took place, the murder happened, and what led up to that point. But I do know that he got dropped off at the Wendy's. He knew that he was too drunk to drive and went to sleep in his car.
We got dropped off, or he drove through.
From what I saw in the 5-minute video, somebody dropped him off there.
And that's where his car was parked.
But
Cass, that's incorrect?
Well, he was in his driver's seat.
That's what he said. But
That's
what
what he
happened,
said.
what the report was that Wendy's called 911 because he was asleep in the drive-thru in his car.
Well, if you watch the body cam video, that 43-minute video, Cass, that you were saying?
Yeah.
If you watch that body cam footage, the beginning of the
picks up.
conversation, they're waking him up, and they're like, hey, you're asleep in the drive-thru line. You're blocking traffic. What happened? Why, are you okay? You have a long day? Like, what's going on? And he's asleep, and he is in the drive-thru line. I have no idea what happened before that. That seemed to be where it started.
Yeah.
And so what escalated after that is basically him admitting, the video I saw, he admitted to having been drinking. And they went to put him in handcuffs. And that's when the tussling started.
And
He was tased.
He grabbed the taser as they were tasing him.
And then started to run. And then that's when they pulled the guns and shot him.
Right.
And so the conversation now goes, why did you guys have to kill him?
You made a great point earlier, Ebro. You have his car. You know who he is.
You know, you've already ID'd him. You have his car.
You don't think he's dangerous. You didn't think he had a weapon, because if you thought he had a weapon, this would have been different.
Well, he had your taser.
Well,
He
they're
has a
going to say,
taser.
yes, he did have a weapon. He stole our taser.
Right. But what I'm
my
saying
whole
is,
thing is like, why not shoot him in the leg?
we never see shooting in the leg. That's not a thing, apparently.
Well, the police will tell you that that's not how they're trained. They're trained to shoot to kill. Now, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole on police training, you can watch some. There was a great episode of John Oliver on HBO where he delves into the mentality behind police training in a lot of police precincts, which is about being able to murder. And if you're not able to kill someone, you shouldn't be a police officer.
But also, why are you shooting? So this guy, who's presumably, he wasn't a suspect in some sort of murderous story, you needed to fire shots at him with a whole bunch of other people online in the drive-thru?
How many shots were fired, guys?
I thought it was
5. I heard 5.
So he got hit 5 times.
In the back.
Well, he got hit twice in the back.
No, he got hit twice in the back. It said he
Twice.
died from 2 shots to the back. You might have heard more shots, but that's what I'm saying. You're missing, and you have people all sitting there in their cars.
Well, and so for the
Right,
audience,
right,
look,
right.
we're all accustomed in these situations when you hear someone took a police taser and they started running. We're accustomed to hearing that police use deadly force in circumstances like this. But the cultural shift that people are pushing for is that a circumstance like this where the person you are attempting to arrest does not have a deadly weapon, and you know this, why are you killing them?
My initial thought was, why couldn't they drive him home?
Well, we know that ain't happening.
Nope, that doesn't
You were
happen.
behind the wheel of a car in a drive-through. So they're taking you to jail because you were driving a vehicle while intoxicated. They're taking you to jail for that. The question in culture becomes, and the culture of policing is, why did you have to kill this person? And that little piece is where the next 20 years goes. And which is why people are saying things like defund the police. Why are taxpayers paying for these people to go out here and kill people? Isn't there a better way? That's what this all comes down to. Why are you killing?
If this had been some sort of raid where you were going to get someone who was a violent offender who had been harming people,
we wouldn't even be having this
we're not
conversation.
having this conversation. But when you're talking about someone who was drunk and asleep, who would be catching some sort of misdemeanor charge, why are you chasing? And to your point, you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he going to go? He's going to go on the lam? Where's he going to go?
Right. He said he had a family. His daughter just turned 3 the day before it. He's not going far.
He's going to sober up, and you're going to go pick him up and go deal with
And you're going to charge him and you're going to move on.
Right. So then Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms fired the 2 cops, right?
Yes, quickly. She can't prosecute him, but she can fire him.
She can fire them. And then the police commissioner stepped down. Now, a lot of people were saying the police commissioner, she resigned, but I've read that she didn't necessarily resign. She just stepped down for her position as police commissioner.
And
She's
then
still
and
working.
then culturally, we've also all seen mass shooters shooting children at high schools be apprehended and alive. They took Dylan Roof to a Burger
Yes.
King.
What are we talking about? Come on. They were like, oh, you must be hungry after murdering people. Here, let's get you a burger.
Yet
So-
this dude who's clearly not in his right mind.
Gets killed. And the reason I'm unpacking it that way for the audience is so that you can understand it. That's really the conversation that has to happen in police precincts. It has to happen with city council. It has to happen with voters. It has to happen with everyone involved. Is why are we allowing police to kill people in situations where it's not life-threatening to the police? Then you're going to start having the conversation around states that have open carry. And you're going to watch, because there's going to be situations like Philando Castile in Minneapolis. He had his permit, told the officer, I have a weapon, I have a permit to carry. That officer still killed him in front of his family in the car.
And we all saw it on Facebook Live. Where was the NRA?
The NRA don't ever speak out for black folks. When is the time that you've seen the NRA jump out for a
Never.
black person with a gun? Never. So we're going to be dealing with this, and we can't look away, because if we want real change in our society and we want people to be treated equal, we're going to have to do this work and keep looking at it. And it's unfortunate, but it's necessary. It's tough, but it's necessary. And shout out to all the white people out here ready to do the work. Welcome to the party.
Facts.
Better late than never.
I'm not mad.
Better late than never.
Word out.
Better late than never.